Welcome back to Booze Briefs. I'm Matt.
Still Derek.
Still.
How about it?
Excellent. All right, so today's episode, we have a glorious bottle of Blade and Bow. Stitzel Distillery does a good job.
Well, did.
Well, yes.
They kind of shut down a little while ago.
But they did a good job making this one.
Yes.
As you can see, I've had a little bit of it. It's been open for week and a half, something like that. So it's got a little air on it. It hasn't changed a whole lot. I expect it to, give it some time. But let's get right in. Let's pour it.
Okay.
See what we got going on here.
I like the way you think.
Well,
So, while you're pouring there, Matt, what's the deal with the key on it? I know you were telling me a little something about that earlier, but I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what you said.
It's a fancy little key here, and there are actually 5 different keys. So each one is different, obviously, being that there's 5 of them. And they describe or they symbolize one of the 5 steps to making a good bourbon whiskey. You got the grains, you got the yeast, fermentation, distillation, and aging. So kind of the gimmick behind it, I think, is you go buy 5 bottles and try and buy all 5 keys. I've got one of them so far, so looks like I'm going to have to buy another 4 bottles.
Now, if you get all 5, do you get a prize? Do you get to go tour the Wonka factory? What do you get if you get all 5?
You get a really hearty handshake and the satisfaction of knowing that you have bought 5 bottles.
And I would say it's much easier to get all 5 of these keys than it is to get all 8, I think it's 8 different horses on blends, considering that bottle is nearly impossible to acquire, especially here in North Carolina.
That's true. And this one actually is not very easy to get in either.
Really?
I was at the local liquor store and I walked in. There were 2 on the shelf. The guy said he got a case in and those were the only 2 left. The lady behind me came up and asked if I was going to buy both of them.
Oh.
And I said, well, the fact that you want to buy both of them means I should probably buy both of them, but I was courteous.
Oh, what a gent.
Yeah, sometimes. So I let her get one, and I got one, and I was glad that I got it. It came off a recommendation from one of our friends. He said it was great, so let's dive right in here and see what you think of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
It smells like bourbon.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
So, Matt, they put a lot of information and marketing on this bottle. First of all, it's 45.5%. So it's 91 proof. I'm used to seeing proof in, even numbers.
It's precision. Precision's good. I mean, this is a business where you have to be precise.
Okay.
So I applaud them with that. Don't understand it, but...
So the bottle tells you they have 5 different facts on here, I guess, for the 5 keys. It said it was inspired by the historic Stitzel Distillery from 1935, renowned home of the world's finest bourbons. They used to make Pappy, which Buffalo Trace now makes.
They make everything now, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's crafted with carefully selected straight bourbon whiskeys, including the last remaining bourbon ever produced at Stitzel. And I think they shut down in 92.
Ish, yeah.
I wasn't really keeping up with whiskeys or bourbons, when I was not legally able to drink.
Yeah.
But, Matt, I want you to talk about this in a little bit. The way they're able to say that is part of the Solera system. But let's get back to that. I want to finish reading these things, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can't read, so...
This was aged in charred American white oak barrels to create a whiskey with notes of sweet toasted cereal, warm winter spice, and dried fruits.
What kind of cereal?
I'm guessing not Trix.
Cocoa Puffs?
Sure. Kashi Best Friends?
No. That's not cereal.
It was matured using the rigorous Solera aging method, preserving our rarest whiskey stocks and the spirit of Stitzel. And then you already mentioned the 5 keys. But since that last note was the Solera system, I know they use that in some wines, especially some champagnes. But Matt, what in the hell is the Solera system?
It's not a bad Toyota car. That's the Solara.
I hate you so much.
You didn't know that was coming. What it is they... obviously, they age in barrels. So when it's time for the barrels to be bottled, they never empty the barrel completely. So there's always some of that aged bourbon in there. It is hanging out. It's doing its thing. It's just continually getting better and better and better. But then to that, they add everything that they're going to be aging. So
Okay.
all of the new goes in on top of the old and blends. So it's not on the bottle anywhere. It's not really advertised what age it is because you don't know. There could be some in there that's 30 years old. You don't know.
Yeah, the only thing that we know, because it says Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, is I think it has to be at least 2 years. I forget if it's 2 or 4 that it has to be straight
I believe
bourbon
you're right
whiskey.
too.
But with that Solera method, the way I've seen it, it's kind of like a pyramid, and they put the new fill up here, and then as it ages, or they fill from the bottom, the bottles that has the blend from old to young, and then when they need to refill those at the bottom that haven't been completely depleted, they just fill from the next level,
Right.
and the next level, and the next level. So when they say this has some of the last stuff that Stitzelweller made in 92, if you could fill even like one full drop from an eyedropper in this bottle, I'd be shocked.
Correct. Yes, it's a lot of it is probably in that it's in the barrel. Mm-hmm. They're getting the flavor of it,
Yeah.
but are you actually getting? You say, "Ooh, you know what? I'm tasting that 92 in here." You're a liar. You, sir, are a liar. There's no way that you are tasting something that old. But it's cool. I like it. I think it's 40. I think it was $49.95 at the local liquor store.
Oh, so under 50.
Under $50.
Hey, how about it?
And then all of the glorious taxes that North Carolina puts on things. You know, state tax, sales tax, brown liquor tax, stuff and things. Mm-hmm. It ends up still being a very good buy for the money.
Yeah.
Is this something that I'm going to sit down and go, you have a hard day at work and you go, I want 2 or 3 drinks tonight. Am I going to drink that? No. Because that's expensive for just an everyday, right? But it's something where if I was going to have a nice cigar and sit down with my buddy on the back deck and go, let's have a nice whiskey, a nice bourbon, smoke a cigar, this is a good one to do it with.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an overpowering heat. I don't think there's one thing that really shocks your palate or system to be able to say that it's something you don't you're going to want to have more than maybe 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some heat to it.
Yes.
And it's that, I've heard people call it a Kentucky hug, which I'm not going to look up on Urban Dictionary.
You make that mistake once.
Yeah, makes her safe searches on when you Google Kentucky hug. But it's that warming but not burning sensation that you get through.
You feel it, right?
Yeah.
You feel that coat coming down, and it's truly like a nice.
But
warm hug.
it's nice. It's toasty. It's rich.
I wouldn't say it's thick.
No, I was kind of surprised because when you look at the glass and you see some of the drops just hang out on the side of the glass, I almost expected it to be a chewier bourbon than it is.
It definitely has some pretty good legs.
Yeah.
And they stay too. I mean, and the other side of that is the flavor stays too. Like just on the palate, the back of the tongue, that pepper, you get a little bit of that too, where it just kind of hangs out. And it's got a little bit of heat back there, but I like it.
Yeah.
That's my speed. I would even like it if it was a little bit hotter, a little higher.
So, a couple questions before we wrap this up here, Matt. For $50, I'm sorry, just under $50.
Just under, not over.
Is this overpriced, a good value, or a bargain in your mind?
I would say that it's where it should be. I would say this is a good buy for the money. I wouldn't say that if you, because of the rarity of it and how tough it is to get around here, if there are 2 on the shelf, next time I probably will buy both.
Yeah.
I probably will. It just makes my life a little easier and it's one less trip to the liquor store.
Yeah. I like it. I think at $50, it's maybe, I would say it's good value to maybe slightly overpriced. Part of that may be the story. Part of that may be, save $1 and stick this key somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't need the tchotchke.
Yeah, I don't need that. I would like this a lot more at 40 to 45, but I still think it's a good value. The story is cool. The Solera method is neat.
It is.
And it is a very enjoyable bourbon.
Yep.
So, and I think as it gets a little more air on it, it starts to round out a little bit more. You can pick up more of the flavors and a little bit less of the heat.
I agree with that. That's a fair assessment, sir.
I think, in its weight class, the way we like to do it, so we're not comparing a sports car and a full-size pickup, I think if you're looking at a $50 bourbon, I'd give this. I like it. I don't love it. I would probably go 87 or so.
Yeah, I think yes.
Okay.
I think the first time I had it, it was a nostalgia thing. It was I got my hands on something, right? So I was in it, and I wanted more of it, and I would have rated it a little bit higher. Now that it's been open for a week and a half or so, I think you're right. I think that 86, 87 range is probably about right.
Yeah, like we said, I would probably bump this up a couple of points if it just had a little more chew to it, for lack of a better term.
Yummy.
Yeah.
The extra pork.
Yummy. Well, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. We'll be back next week with reviewing something else. We don't know what yet.
So exciting.
The intrigue is there, but if you want to know when our videos go live, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notified. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All of those are at Booze Briefs, Booze Briefs, and we're also at boozebriefs.com.
See you next time.